Hello guys, gals, non-binary pals, and waterfowls. It's me, Big Mike, coming at you with the first official episode of Big Mike's Big Universe. That's right, fam. 6 videos later, and I finally decided to give this series a name. Anyway, we have a huge video and a very fitting one to kick off our series. This episode is all about the House's hearing on UAPs and everything you need to know about it before it happens. So fam, here's what we're going to be covering in today's video. We're going to be covering the basic info that you need to know about this hearing. We're going to be covering the roadblocks that the representatives faced on the way to setting up this hearing. We're going to be taking a deep look at the witnesses that are going to be testifying at this hearing. And lastly, we're going to be taking a look at, or we're going to be discussing what you can expect to see at this hearing. And so just a couple things before we jump in. First, this will likely be a long video, so I will put some timestamps in the description below to match the points we just discussed. Secondly, because this video centers around politics, let me put forth my normal disclaimer. Just because I mention or discuss a politician here does not mean I agree, condone, support, or endorse their politics, opinions, or views. The same is true of any political party I mention. I'm not a Republican, I'm not a Democrat, I'm not a Libertarian, and I'm not a member of the Green Party. Furthermore, I'm not a political channel, so my politics shouldn't even matter anyway. And with that out of the way, fam, let's jump into our first topic. So first, let's talk about the basic info of this hearing. The House of Representatives Oversight Committee's hearing on UAPs or UFOs is officially called the Unidentified Anomalous Phenomena, Implications on National Security, Public Safety, and Government Transparency. It's a bipartisan hearing headed by both Democrats and Republicans. It's scheduled for Wednesday, July the 26th for 10 a.m. Eastern Time. I will put up a list of equivalent times in the various time zones on the screen here, so be sure to check that out if you live in a different time zone or outside the United States. I have been told that the hearing is open to the public, so if you're in DC or close by and want to attend, it will be held at 2154 Rayburn House Office Building. If you are like me and you live way too far away to even dream of attending, the hearing will be live streamed on the House Oversight Committee's website at oversight.house.gov, and I'll put the link in the description. The subcommittee hearing will explore first-hand accounts of unidentified anomalous phenomena, UAPs, and assess the federal government's transparency and accountability regarding UAPs' possible threats to U.S. national security. This hearing will also highlight legislative efforts to bring transparency to UAPs and require the federal government to provide the American people with information about potential risks to public safety and national security. On this issue, Representative Tim Burchett, a Republican from Tennessee, has stated, "The Pentagon and Washington bureaucrats have kept this information hidden for decades, and we're finally going to shed some light on it. We're bringing the credible witnesses who can provide public testimony because the American people deserve the truth. We're done with the cover-ups." In 2022, at the direction of Congress, the Department of Defense created the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, or AARO, to investigate UAP reports. The federal government spends millions of dollars examining UAPs, yet refuses to be forthcoming with the American people as it continues to declassify certain videos and studies on various UAP incidents with little clarity on the subject's origins. On this subject, Representative Anna Paulina Luna, a Republican of Florida, has stated, "The status quo on the part of the United States government has been to leave the American public in the dark regarding information about UAPs. Refuse to answer questions posted by whistleblowers, avoid the concerns Americans have about the possible threats UAPs pose to our national security and public safety, and default to extreme and unnecessary overclassification. If the last few months have taught me anything, it is that this is an issue that matters to Americans. It also impacts the transparency and accountability of our government is supposed to grant the people who it serves. I look forward to bringing this topic to light." And that's all of the basic info, so let's move on to the next topic. The next topic we're going to be looking at are the roadblocks or hurdles that the representatives have had to overcome in order to get this hearing going. The hearing has hit a few roadblocks along the way. First, reportedly, the committee even had to struggle to get a location and a time at the Capitol building in Washington for the hearing to take place.
But it was really hard for him to get this scheduled. It was hard for him to get it scheduled. It was hard for Congressman Luna to get it scheduled. It was hard to get a room. It was hard to get staff on board. It was hard to get approval. Every single step that they had to go through to make this hearing happen next week. The witnesses, they were stonewalled, and they had to push and push and push.
Representatives Burchett, Luna, and Matt Gaetz traveled to Eglin Air Force Base in Florida after being invited to the base. They were invited and told they would be briefed and given photographs and eyewitness testimony. Upon arriving there, they were stonewalled by the Pentagon and Air Force and kept from seeing information and pictures, from reading testimony from pilots who saw potential UFOs, and from talking to witnesses. Eventually, they were given information, but the information they were given was irrelevant. Burchett explains, "The synopsis had nothing to do with UFOs, and we stopped the thing in the middle of it and said, hey, this is not what you told us we were coming down here for, and they basically told us we're not going to get into UAPs. Representative Luna said, this sparked a confrontation with the commanding general at the base. Even before we got down there, the Pentagon tried to stop the field hearings, he said. She then went on to explain, after much arm twisting, we got some of the information, but the fact is that they answer to Congress acting on behalf of the American people, and any government entity that attempts to stonewall us is doing nothing in the best interest of the American people. If the Air Force, the Pentagon thinks they're above Congress, then they have another thing coming to them. We told them we are going to do this if they continue to hide information. Lastly, the number of witnesses has decreased from 5 to 3. One had reportedly backed out when NASA quit working with the committee, while another dropped out due to pressure from the Pentagon. We've had a heck of a lot of pushback about this hearing. There are a lot of people who don't want this to come to light, Burchett told reporters on Thursday. We're going to get to the bottom of it, dadgummit. Whatever the truth may be, we're done with the cover-up. With that out of the way, now let's take a look at the witnesses who will be testifying at the hearing. First, we have Ryan Graves. Ryan Graves is the executive director of Americans for Safe Aerospace. Americans for Safe Aerospace is the first pilot-led advocacy organization dedicated to UAPs. The group wants to push for policy changes like better reporting mechanisms, serve as a hub for pilot whistleblowers, and advocate for more disclosure by the military and other government agencies. In the past, Graves has told reporters, unidentified objects in our aerospace present an urgent and critical safety and national security issue, but pilots are not getting the support they need and the respect they deserve, Graves said. When I served, my squadron was encountering UAPs nearly every day, and nothing was being done. Graves recently spoke with Newsweek by email, where he stated many aircrew witnesses feel a very real fear of facing potential consequences for coming forward about UAPs, adding that he felt a sense of stigma when he began to share his own experiences. Congress needs to hear that military aircrew and civilian pilots are routinely observing mysterious objects making inexplicable maneuvers in our sky, Graves told Newsweek. I hope they gain a sense of the stigma I experienced coming forward and the frustration that commercial pilots experience that there is no way to report UAPs to the government. The next witness is David Fravor. The retired commander David Fravor was former commanding officer of the Black Aces Squadron in the U.S. Navy. On November 14, 2004, he was a part of the USS Nimitz Carrier Strike Group and investigated radar indications of a possible target off the coast of Southern California. Fravor said the operator had told him that the USS Princeton, part of the strike group, had been tracking unusual aircraft for 2 weeks prior to the incident. The aircraft would appear at 80,000 feet before descending rapidly towards the sea and stopping at 20,000 feet and hovering above an ocean disturbance. He estimated the object was about 40 feet long. Fravor and another pilot, Alex Diedrich, said in an interview that a total of 4 people, 2 pilots and 2 weapons systems officers in the back seats of 2 airplanes, witnessed the objects for about 5 minutes. Fravor says that as he spiraled down to get closer to the object ascended, mirroring the trajectory of his airplane until the object disappeared. The object in question that he saw is now known as the tic-tac object. In regards to this incident back in 2017, Fravor told ABC News, I can tell you, I think it was not from this world. And the last witness is David Grusch. Now, David Grusch, he is a 36-year-old Air Force veteran. He was a high-level intelligence officer. He worked for AARO, the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office. He was also a veteran of the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency. There, he handled the nation's deepest, most precious secrets. He worked with the UAP Task Force And it was here that Grusch alleges that the U.S. has a UAP retrieval program, but he and his team was denied access to it. No, it's a program that he claims retrieves vehicles that were created by non-human beings. He also alleges that the U.S. has quite a few of these vehicles, both functional and damaged. Now, additionally, he says the U.S. has recovered quite a few alien bodies. He went on to claim that the aliens are not friendly, but are at best indifferent, not stepping in to help us when we need it. And also, he claims that perhaps they may even be hostile. He further claims that the U.S. government has given this technology to private companies to reverse engineer, and that the government has paid said companies to do this, in which in turn the companies sell back their findings to the government. And Grusch says that this is highly unethical. And these are just some of the claims he's made. One thing to keep in mind, and this is something that he said himself, is that all of his information was based on secondhand sources. He talked to somebody, or he saw something, or he read a document, but he didn't see anything for himself. With that being said, though, when he presented his claims to the Inspector General, the Inspector General called his claims credible and urgent. And really the last thing I want to point out here is that if you haven't been following this story, it was Grusch's claims that actually were the catalyst for all of this stuff that's currently going on right now. And that's all I have for this topic. So let's move on to the final one. And the final topic that we're going to talk about here today is what can we expect at the hearing? According to Representative Burchett, there is a possibility there could be some new documents or photos or video evidence shared at the hearing. But the real thing to look forward to is that we can definitely expect some great questions and hopefully equally as great answers, with possibly some new information to come out of this. Some, such as Mika Hanks of Debrief, have compared this to April's Senate hearing on UAPs, featuring testimony from AARO Director Sean Kirkpatrick. In it, he shared a series of slides conveying newly declassified information on UAP characteristics that included common sizes, shapes, electronic signatures associated with them, and areas where they are frequently observed. This in addition to a short video depicting a spherical object that the AARO currently still characterizes as unidentified. This left many people unsatisfied. This information, previously withheld in a pair of assessments on UAPs that appeared on the website of the Office of the Director of the National Intelligence, appeared publicly for the first time during April's Senate hearing. Despite the lackluster responses it received, the hearing and particularly the new UAP data provided by Dr. Kirkpatrick represent an example of the kinds of useful information that may arise from such hearings. Indeed, maybe next week's hearing will bear similar fruit. Mika explained. One good observation I came across was that even if there is no new information to come out of this, that's okay. Because this hearing isn't necessarily for people who are already aware of this situation, but rather the public at large, to draw more attention to this situation. Some are under the impression that we're going to see, in the words of Representative Burchett, little green men and flying saucers at this hearing. I don't believe that, and to be honest, I never believed we would get full disclosure here at this hearing. I mean, I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think so. I also don't think this will be, as the skeptics claim, a nothing burger, but rather I believe this is something that may serve to set the stage for other actions, such as later hearings or pieces of legislation that could bring out the truth. We're at the point in time where on the one hand, the stigma of discussing such things is fading, and more people are coming to believe there is something going on here. Just look at the number of the members of Congress that are raising their voices over this issue, as well as the number of mainstream media outlets covering this. And no matter how the hearing goes, I can't imagine all of that enthusiasm just disappearing. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Do you plan on attending the hearing or watching the live stream? I personally plan to stay up with some snacks and a soda by my side, watching it, tweeting about it, and definitely taking notes. And depending on how the hearing goes, I may do a follow-up video later this week. But with that out of the way, fam, we'll call it here. Special thanks to Fran, who does a wonderful job of doing my art. She's back on Twitter, so please give her a follow. A special thanks to all my friends on Twitter. I wouldn't be here without you all. And most importantly, a special thank you to all of you for watching. Please like this video if you liked it, Dislike it if you dislike it. Feel free to comment below and let me know what you think. And if you like my content, please subscribe and turn your notifications on. Until next time, fam, remember, just be yourself and you'll be awesome. Peace out!